Hey, I'm Warren Sprouse here on the Bible Forum. We're here every Sunday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. We do it just for you, and we try to help you understand what's going on in your world. Have you seen the migration issue that is pushing at every border, it seems, around the world? What's going on? Well, migration is an inevitable fact of life. Migration is necessary. People need to be moving around. And migration is desirable. Now, these three sentences flash at the end of a new video released by the International Organization for Migration. That's a United Nations group dedicated to promoting humane and orderly migration for the benefit of all. The video highlights that 244 million international immigrants, we like to call them refugees, who are living abroad worldwide, that's a nice way to put it, and cities this number as proof that migration is inevitable, necessary, and desirable. That is really strange logic. The video refers to them as undocumented, discriminated, forgotten. Now that's supposed to make me feel sorry for them, and I do. And words such as grateful, skilled, compassionate are used to make sure that we feel sorry for them. These so-called migrants are not emigrating to all countries, just Europe and North America, according to the International Organization for Migration. In Africa, Asia, Latin America, the Caribbean, the population is not even 2% international migrants. About half of all migrants globally have moved from developing to developed countries. And that's the fastest growing type of migration, according to the McKinsey Global Institute. According to the author, what this study fails to point out is the complicity of both the Clinton and Obama administrations to destabilize Africa by removing Muammar Gaddafi, Libyan strongman, Muammar Gaddafi. You remember the story? We talked about this. When there was the attack on our people in Libya, within 2 months, there was a book that came out that explained what happened and why. And I shared that with you. Now, it's been several years. Not one fact has come out that was any different than what was in that book. And what was in that book were by operators, special operators and others who move in that circle and see and know what's going on. We were running guns out of Libya to support the rebels that were trying to take Syria president down. That's what we were doing. That antagonized the other side. And that's why they came and they attacked our political, whatever I want to call what they call it. Whatever they called it, that's what it was. It was more like a legation or some out of the way thing. And people died. In the video that accompanies this, there's an exchange with Julian Assange whereby he distills the essence of this current crisis, likening Libya to a cork in the powder keg of Africa. He says it must never be forgotten how we got here. It was the globalists who uncorked this crisis, led by the Clinton-Obama crowd. When looking at the statistics, it's clear that the effects of mass migration are not solely positive on developed nations. as migrants often increase crime and unemployment rates. Across the European Union, the unemployment rate of non-EU citizens remains 10% higher than that of citizens. Sweden is a self-described humanitarian superpower, accepted 163,000 asylum seekers in 2015. A year later, only 500 of these had found work. That according to a publication called The Local. The cost of accepting and taking care of these migrants was billions of dollars, according to the Financial Times. In the Netherlands, 90% of Syrian and Eritrean asylum seekers, the largest groups of migrants, remain dependent on social benefits. Almost none was employed after 18 months in the country. In Germany, all non-Germans make up about 10% of the overall population, and yet they accounted for 30% of all crime in 2016. Refugees officially only make up 2% of the German population, but they accounted for almost 10% of all crime. According to statistics compiled by the Federal Criminal Police Office, the number of migrant crime suspects in 2016 increased by an alarming 52.7%. At the same time, the number of migrants living in Germany only increased by 11%. The German Commissioner for Immigration, Refugees and Integration told the Financial Times that only 25% of migrants in Germany would find employment in the next 5 years. Many of the first Syrian refugees to arrive in Germany were doctors and engineers, but they were succeeded by many, many more who lacked skills. Leo Holman, author of Stealth Invasion, Muslim Conquest Through Immigration and Resettlement Jihad, believes migrants are a societal harm to the United States as well. He says the truth is migrants are very costly. The refugee program alone costs us billions every year because the vast majority, more than 60%, are on food stamps and Medicaid for at least 5 years after coming here. Holman also noted that under the UN's 2030 agenda and the accompanying new urban agenda, migrants are entitled to affordable housing, affordable health care, affordable transportation, and a full slate of civil rights, even though American citizens are not provided these same benefits. Holman continues, it's a massive wealth redistribution plan disguised as a humanitarian effort. It's also a deconstruction plan, as the United Nations has long sought to deconstruct the nation-state system and replace it with a new system of global governance, absent of any restriction of their power. Do you hear what these words are saying? They're saying that this is an organized effort by the United Nations to encourage all this migration, the have-nots coming into the haves and diluting the pile. Why? Well, it's not fair that they don't have anything. Why don't they have anything? And countless studies have been done over hundreds of years, and it always comes back the same. That largely success or failure in terms of economics is a religious issue. In countries that have pagan religions, they're generally poor. In the Western world, driven by Christian principle, whether anybody's really a Christian or not. And we do fine. Start to see the picture here? Don't want to see the picture here. We're watching now with a European Union that has no idea what to do with the United States. We have leadership in the United States that in 4 months has done more to change our system and get it going than the last 8 years put together. We have a president who says, you know, we want to bring our steel manufacturing back to our country. We don't want to be dependent on other countries. And people over here are screaming bloody murder. Why did you want to do a thing like that? Because if there's a tension, if there's a problem, if there's a war, if there's any kind of a battle, we got nothing over here. Nations need to take care of themselves. We have more money than anybody. We have more wealth than all of Europe put together. Those people are poor. They don't live like we do. Russia is on the verge of financial collapse. Why would we listen to anything they say about how to do this? They apparently can't do it. But the United Nations, they want all this redistribution. It's in this plan. You can read about it. Go online and look it up. It's changed its name several times. I think now it's called the 2030 plan or something like that. And it's all about taking America down. Right now it's Islam on the move again. It's another form of jihad. Not with a sword, but just with population. Just these people come in, and in 20, 30 years, their population increases 5 times faster than anybody else's. We're trying not to have children. We can't even reproduce ourselves. They're having 5, 6, 7. And it doesn't take very long before it's felt in small communities, and then it's felt in states, and it has an impact. This is a fight for life. And we don't get it. We don't understand. Maybe one day, when it's too late, huh?